the other day on the bus. It's a little grain of salt in us, within all the blackness of the melanin, which is a shadow that covers one grain of salt in us, and inside of that grain of salt is a whole other universe, which is heaven. That's some amazing shit. Think about that. Inside the melanin is a grain of salt. But we just say salt to give you an indication on earth terms of what this shit is. It's like a mustard seed. It's inside of us, but inside that mustard seed is the whole universe. Dr. Zeus made a damn cartoon about an elephant with a little piece of dust on a flower, and inside the flower was a whole fucking universe, a whole damn other city. You know, and that's what we're talking about here at this particular time. At this particular time. So now let's go on so we can understand something. In this book, one of the most ancient names for God was called Camethys. Camethys. And Camethys, which is one of the most ancient names for God, they took the K-A off and you get the word Memphis. It's Camethys. You get the K-A off and you get the word Memphis. So the word Memphis, even in Egypt, is another name for the most ancient god, which was Soot. But another word is Camethys. And it's, which is another, and so the word, in Memphis, Tennessee or whatever, because one name after the other, is another ancient name for the actual god Soot, also too. In here, in the Hermetic text, they talk about the time when we first fell into these bodies. And they go into, oh, Lord, out of England, the book that came out of England, what's the name of that book?
Sign the Seal?
No, the Fukinetic Phenomenon by Kenneth Rayner Johnson. Now it's called The Alchemist. It's called The Immortal. Anyway, he even bears witness that it was also the Noah's flood was actually the sinking of Atlantis, and Atlantis being one landmass. Even Dr. John Henry Clark, Dr. Asa Hilliard, Renoka Rashidi, and all of the basic scholars do believe, as well as most European scholars, that the earth was one landmass at one time, and but they just said it had a continental drift. But the real deal was it had that cataclysmic explosion, and and that brought about Atlantis. So they had a TV special on NBC about a year ago, and they were saying that they had portions of Atlantis being near Haiti, near the coast of Bimini, the Atlantic Ocean, in Greece and Mesopotamia, and then you even have reports of Lemuria being near Australia. So what it is the key is they are all right. You'll find different artifacts of things in civilization that have sank beneath the oceans, but what they didn't realize is that it was one landmass, and the pieces that sank, you might call that Atlantis, and the confusion is if you put the one landmass theory back together, then you would understand that it would make this enigma go away as far as how could Atlantis be in Mesopotamia or near Greece, as well as near all of the whole Atlantic Ocean, all the way, even on the coast, all the way to South America, and you know your whole Bermuda Triangle has a lot to do with that. So, dealing with that now, the greatest text, you see, the scholars like Ivan Van Sertima and them said, well, you know, we don't want to deal with that because we don't have enough evidence on it. But my point is when I started lecturing, it was overwhelming amount of evidence. As a matter of fact, in 1994, they even showed big pictures of the god Tahuti on the side of the walls somewhere in the Easter Islands, and also in Australia. So the big heads in Easter Island. So there's overwhelming evidence, but even the text, and that's the problem that we have here. We're going to talk libations, but I want to get this out. The problem we have here is we got thousands and thousands of texts left behind, but we don't use the text to piece together any type of thing. The simple fact that we want to use white man's technology, which he is a liar. he is a liar. But even in the Nephilim book, they said that Charles Darwin faked the whole ape thing because he was with one of the secret societies, and they say, we want you to do this the theory of natural selection and the whole Darwin's evolutionary theory, and it was something to throw people off. Now, we was up in the Xeroxing place, and a brother came up, and he was saying, well, you know, he took it that we were conscious and all, because he saw Brother Baptiste's hat and all, and he saw the Africa, and he saw the Ark and stuff. So he asked the question, well, if melanin, he said, if we have melanin, and what was the question? If we...
What you talking about, the white?
It's a black guy.
What's the difference?
What would be the difference between the melanin? We know we have surface melanin, but what would make a white person white? You know, what would make a white person white? Okay. And but the key was, I said, well, do you know that the only evidence we have supports the Yakub theory based on archaeological evidence? Oh, I don't believe that. Well, wait a minute now. And then he said that, and basically he was trying to make a point with his damn questions. He had already made up his mind what he believed. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So why the fuck ask a question? You already made up your mind. Why you asking? Why you even get into this if you're going to make up your mind? You know what I'm saying? So he said, well, I don't believe that. So he said, I said, well, what about gene splash? And I said, they cloned two doggone sheep. I didn't even get into the real thing with they've been cloning since 1945. I said, they cloned two sheep. That's gene splash. Oh, well, that's possible. I said, oh, that's possible. Oh, why? Because the white man did it, right? Yeah. And then he said, well, you don't believe we had high technology in the ancient world? He said, no, I don't believe that. Yeah. I said, wait a minute now. Here it is. These white people believe the earth was flat 300, 400 years ago, and they have already gone through the technology with a little bit of knowledge, and you don't think that we knew all this knowledge? Oh, yeah, the Africans knew the earth was round, and you don't think we had high technology? Well, they had to deal with heat, and they had to deal with all, dealing with the same thing, but I knew that the brother was educated, which fucks us up every time.
That's right. That's right. Tell it. With credentials.
With credentials. The doggone education, and I said, look, don't even try to even talk to the brother, always agree with the brother, because I said I went through years and years of that foolishness. You know, I went through years and years of that foolishness. It's almost as if to say that the model has to be with the white man's model on the way he say things are. And any other miraculous thing cannot be true when it comes to black people. And your own spirit tells you. You know,
he started talking about his credentials.
Then he started talking about his credentials and his degrees and all this type of stuff. And I said, you know, it's funny. And I said, well, you already answered the dog, asked the question with your own answer. You know what I'm saying? So what's the whole thing? And I think the whole thing was he was trying to challenge, or either he was trying to show us what little bit he did know. And I was like, you know, we are so schizophrenic. And it's the same Carter G. Wilson story, or either Harold Cruz's book, The Craft of the Negro Intellectual, although he was neurotic himself, but he was trying to drive home a point that we have gone crazy with this particular mess as far as what we think we know based on what the white boy has given us. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into a question and answer. We got some books up here. We're going to deal with some things here. Go into a question and answer. We're going to do the invocation to the god Heru, which Heru later on becomes Jeru and Jerusalem, which is Jerusalem. Comes from the word Heru. You know, you got Jesus and you got Jesus. But you know, the H and the J, but there is no J basically in the Hebrew alphabet. It's a Y and a H. So the word Heru becomes Jeru, because you know, once you translate it into Latin and that whole 9 yards, becomes Jeru, and then you get the word Jerusalem. Salam means peace, but it also is on the end of mausoleum. And you get the word house of Heru. So right there, the word Jerusalem is also dealing with the Egyptian god Heru, which is the earliest form of the Christ, the earliest form of the actual Christ, that particular point. So what we're going to do is we're going to pour the libations. Can you get that? Can you move that? Right there. Thank you, man. And we use this list. I should have Xeroxed on some of these for the people that didn't get them. And Well, we'll see, because I got some other very important things. The stuff that I got today is, well, let's talk about this right quick before, well, I'll talk about it as soon as we do that libation. We don't need to keep them waiting no longer. So, you know, the libation is nothing, and believe it or not, the gospel music, and I'm not talking the gospel music, and I'm not talking about the white gospel music, which is dead. I'm talking about black gospel music is nothing but a form of the same. It's a mantra. You know, the Islamic, they do this thing, alhamdulillah, 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 Allah, you know, this thing here, and it turns over, and that's like a mantra, a thou. So the whole gospel music is nothing but a mantra. That's why the people say they catch the Holy Ghost is actually metaphysical. If you do any kind of mantra with ancient people, you liable to open up something. So basically, this particular libation here, the calling of the libation is actually a mantra, which brings energy. Which brings energy, so it's metaphysical. He's out there getting it up. Did he get it? Oh, man. Metaphysical. So let's call the roll call of the spiritual energy. The gods, metaphysically, is energy frequencies. You got to start thinking of these things as individual entities more so energy, frequency, energy. It's no different than the same physics. It's just that the white man has separated this physics, science, you know, from the spirituality, and all of a sudden you'll think about energy, and you know damn well that when you stick your hand in that socket the wrong way, you're going to get shot. That's the reality. So it's the same energy type thing, but he makes sure he separates that, you see, because he wants to keep any form of African-centered knowledge into spookism. You scared of this, you're going to hell. Now, in the Hermetic text, which is the one that we got, this particular one, the word hell comes from the word hail, and hail, and it means the earth. So this is hell, based on the ancient text. This is hell. Now remember, 6Sep97 said that the Hebrews didn't even have a hell story until 100 years before Christ, and they adopted the Egyptian book of Gates and just turned it all around. The hell thing is basically going through a series of trying to get to a higher level of spirituality, but you start off in hell. You see what I'm saying? You start off in hell. You're born in hell. And it's a series of coming from the low level to the high level. That's Masonic. So the key is they changed it all around and said you go into hell, but we also know based on the book of Enoch, that thru that they're talking about, we know that the people is actually dealing with that. They will be going to that, and it ain't us. Because it has nothing to do with what you do morally. It's what your energy is. You know, that seed which my father did not pluck up cannot, the seed that my father did not plant cannot be plucked up. Now that's the Gospel of Thomas, which is a Gnostic scripture they dug up in 1945. We'll get into that particular part. So let's go into the libations at this time. Sephra, I say Ain for us, Tether, I say Chakra, I say Bina, I say Tipperary, I say Naksad, I say Deborah, I say Naksad, I say Hard, I say Dar, I say Yased, I say Malkuth, I say Aether, I say Sirius, I say Magnetar, I say Jupiter, I say Mars, I say Helios, I say Venus, I say Mercury, I say Diana, I say Rhea, I say Ceres, I say Hera, I say Zeus, I say Apollo, I say Aphrodite, I say Hercules, I say Achilles, I say Jason, I say Jason, I say Osea, I say Tahuti, I say Maya, I say Ptah, I say Ra, I say Sut, I say Sutnesi, I say Sutnubit, I say Heru, I say Anpu, I say Aset, I say Imhotep, I say Amuthis, I say. I gotta get some other Egyptian deities not on the list. Let's see. Hold on a minute. Awas, I say Sekmet, I say Salket, I say Cedar, I say Bass, I say Bel, I say Baal, I say Balshim, I say Ash, I say Kutumi, I say Kula Kulu, I say Quatapoto, I say Nakumpa, I say Umbelika, I say Shengo, I say Dambawalawedo, I say Olakun, I say Oshosi, I say Yima, I say Odin, I say Balda, I say Nuke, I say Apit, I say Tyre, I say Pan, I say Panheru, I say Sudhar, I say Ptah, I say Osar, Kintiamenti, I say Kinti Urtu, I say Combs, I say Canoon, I say Kintu, I say Mintu, I say Mintu Sivra, I say Mintel Sing Sing, I say Ramanatu, I say Hold on, let's see. Kefra, Ashe. Hold on. Let's see. Cedar, Ashe. Hold on 1 minute. Mutt, I say. Minovis, I say. Lakshmi, I say. Upwari, I say. Sothis, I say. Tatanan, I say. Heru, I say. Layla, I say. Allah, I say. Yima, I say. Odin, I say. Balda, I say. Laki, I say. Thor, I say. Frida, I say. Freya, I say. Fisk, I say. Nurses, I say. Cthulhu, I say. Apathos, I say. Nilahotep, I say. Yosatos, I say. Hastar, I say. Dagon, I say. Jogon, I say. Brahma, I say. Bravini, I say. Ramachandra, I say. Vishnu, I say. Shakti, I say. Shiva, I say. Kali, I say. Ilasuda, I say. Sita, I say. Hanuman, I say. Buddha, I say. Lakshmi, I say. Jinsia, I say. Dambawalawedo, I say. Papagede, I say. Loa, I say. Marasha, I say. Baphomet, I say. Bridget, I say. Adamwergi, I say. Ogufarelli, I say. Ogushengo, I say. Azuli, I say. Edawedo, I say. Legba, I say. Ishu, I say. Zaka, I say. Alausi, I say. Bakala, I say. Ife, I say. Odudawa, I say. Orunla, I say. Oshun, I say. Ogun, I say. Shango, I say. Elegba, I say. Yeminya, I say. Orisha Oku, I say. Oya, I say. Yeah, do. So, okay. Omi Tutu, I say. Ani Tutu, I say. Ida Tutu, I say. Tutu Elegba, I say. Kosi Ka, I say. Kosi Arun, I say. Kosi Iyo, I say. Kosi Opo, I say. Kosi Isida, I say. Kosi Fatma, I say. Kosi Babawaya, I say. Mojo Obo Alafi, I say. Mojo Obo East. Orisha, I say Mojo Obo Itatun, I say Mojo Obo Iku, I say Nila Mare, Olodamare, Ibayi, Olorun, I say Nikamasi Obobo, I say Babalasa Obobo Ilasa, I say Nikamasi, I say. Okay, keep it going on. Ra, I say Ka, I say Ba, I say Ad, I say Ku, I say Sahu, I say. Tab, I say Captain, I say. Paddock, I say Raheruka Hudi, I say Nu, I say, okay, thank you. That's good enough. Sekium, I say. Osea, I say. Sut, I say. Sudanesi, I say. Sutnubit, I say. Alma, I say. Mithra, I say. Abra, I say. Marduk, I say. Bridget, I say. What's that? Tayamat, I say. Maruku, I say. Nibiru, I say. Imu, I say. Muzimu, I say. Muzimu, I say. Kamara, I say. Kingu, I say. Marambu, I say. Marambo, I say. Ramraki, I say. Muzimu, I say. Bodo, I say. Do, I say. Sar, I say. Doto, I say. Fa, I say. Yi, I say. Mawa, I say. Si, I say. Malalisa, I say. Legba, I say. Akanapan, I say. Akra, I say. Nakro, I say. Santaman, I say. Malampo, I say. Santaman, I say. Akanapan, I say. Kimi, I say. Santaman, I say. Raziel, I say. Kaziel, I say. Hamiel, I say. Samuel, I say. John, I say. Elijah, I say. Jeshua, I say. Solomon, I say. David, I say. Let's see. Y'all call out some. Let's see. But Michael, I say. Haniel, I say. Bubiel, I say. Eniel, I say. Enoch, I say. Tahudi, I say. Anpu, I say. Tot, I say. Metatron, I say. Metatron, I say. Aton, I say. 001, I say. Beth, I say. Bass, I say. Abas, I say. Abbas, I say. Thunderdog, I say. Thunderbird, I say. Sunbear, I say. White Buffalo, I say. Cthulhu, I say. I got that one. Somebody said, hold on 1 minute. Tetragrammaton, I say. What's that? Shakti, I say. Shiva, I say. I got that one. Hold on 1 minute. Meteorolaton, I say. What's that? Kali, I got that. Kali. Sophia, I say. Camus, I say. Shekinah, I say. Osar, I said, I got this hat him already. Okay, let's see, I think that's, let's see, I think that'll cover. To all guys, no, I say, okay, the Hemmitt family, I see the Shaw family, I see the Davis family, to all my family members, say 1, 2, 3, start calling out the family members that passed me on. I say. So all guys, no. I say. All that stuff was, no. I say. So we're going to dedicate this one to I say to our warrior Marcus Garvey.
I say.
We'll do that this time. I guess that's what we're going to do from now on. Pick one of them out. Have a special day for him and all, you know, because he prophesied on his deathbed that he would return and all. So I wanted to deal with this Hermetic text again because the oldest thing, we know the oldest book in the world is the book of coming forth by day. And that's because it was translated from the hieroglyphics. But the older text in the world, which I think that predates that, is the Hermetic text. So we're talking about something that's thousands of years old. We're talking about after the Library of Alexandria, they came in and they took all these books and put them in the Library of Alexandria. And then the Greeks pillaged that stuff, and they got a lot of it out before the Romans came in and burned it. And the particular material that they got out was the Hermetic text that later on went into Neoplatonism, that later on went into Gnosticism, that later on went into the text that the Roman government gave Paul to translate from Coptic and Greek into the Bible. Paul. The Bible is 98% Paul's invention. You see what I'm saying? The Bible mythology is 98% Josephus and Paul and another group of scholars coming together and inventing it. You see what I'm saying? Not saying that the Christ and all of the actual mythology is not real and is not legitimate, but the way they presented it and the way they put it together, they made like it was some miracle that just came up 2,000 years ago, and basically it was a summary of all the other ancient stuff that they summarized down. And the first couple of books were some good books. The Schofield Bible, the Latin Falgate Bible, the Septuagint Bible, and all those, but by the time the Conference of Nicaea came, they took some books out. Now, the stuff that they took out is the stuff that we're interested in now. The stuff that they took out was the differences between different races and the differences between two races. Now, we're talking about stuff that is ancient and old, so as a result, we have here the Hermetic text. This one is a prophecy of what's going to happen to black peoples behind, to the T, in this prophecy. And the reason why I say you can get, and we got two of these. We have the prophecy that's what's going to happen. Although it is a greater prophecy and all, I was able to get 6 pages, which is a lot, but I condensed 6 pages, but I was able to get 6 pages in the format, and my graphic design and all, I hooked it all up. But my point, I was able to get 6 pages. But like we said, the information, the European released the information in 1992. 6 volumes, Samuel Weiser. Thrice Great Hermes. Unfortunately, I was starting out lecturing. I was in Atlanta, and I told the brothers and sisters to get the information. But what happened was they slept on it because the book was $50. You see, you know how that is. $50 and all, but then again, that's going out twice. You done spent $100. So they slept on it. But you see what I'm saying? And now Prince charging $85 for a concert. You know what I'm saying? This nigga. The gall of him charging $85 for a doggone concert. And all I have been. I wouldn't have paid $85 when he was brand new. That's ridiculous for singing and dancing. But the key is, now a lot of the Hermetic material is out of print. So therefore, we went and rescued the most important prophecy in here on how Egypt, now Egypt, Israel, West Africa, all that, when they say Egypt, they just mean black people in black land. So they will pick one section, which would mean the original black Hebrews. You see what I'm saying? The original black people all over the earth, the Egyptians, South Africans, the original black people all over. So when they use that, that's how you got to read anciently. You got to understand that you're talking about 2,000, you're talking about this, which is probably a couple, let's say roughly 10,000 years ago. So they don't use in terms, they explain one whole body, a race of people, because it talks about a race. Through, they just pick one person, one place. Since Egypt at this particular time is the main empire, they will pick that one that will deal with, because the Hebrews will later on be an extension of the Ethiopians that will break off from that. But they still talk about one people, Cushite people. So this particular prophecy, we have some of these particular prophecies and all, and I got the majority of what I could put. So we have these prophecies for the people that want them. Plus we have the other stuff that was taken out of the Conference of Nicaea on 2 races of beings. Now, did I say that all? Yeah. Let me get this right. 2 races of beings, 2 creations, and I got it called the curse of the black pharaoh. Now this one, it says 2 beings in society, and it tells about one particular being in the society, how one is the permanent atom and one is the non-permanent atom, and it tells between the 2 permanent, the permanent atoms and the non-permanent atoms, which would be indigenous people and this white person. There's only 10% of them, well, less than 10% of them that would have a permanent atom that would be black and don't know it. So we have these. You can get the whole set for 5 bones, but it cost me a bunch to put this stuff together. And you know, you can get the whole set. Anytime it's more than 2 pages, you can get 1 for 3 or the whole set for 5 bones. But my point is, don't leave without getting this particular information. I'm not trying to sell it to make no money. I'm just saying this information is very important when the stuff is out of print now. So the people that actually want this and all, we have this particular information, the Hermetic text. So don't leave without getting this particular information and all. You think? I think we might as well sell it at the break. Or what you think? Anybody want to get some now or what you? Huh? What you saying? Well, well, it's fresh on your mind. The whole set for 5, but I think it's very important that you get this and all, because see, the simple fact is, if even the guy from Australia said that he said that the part of the Conference of Nicaea, they had to go into those texts and they had to take those things out. And if it wasn't for 1945, so if anybody wants, you can get 2 for 5. 2 for 5 if you want it. Whole set. It was 2 for 5. Okay. Okay, 2 for 5. You want the whole set, right? 2 for 5. And cut off your cameras right quick while we're doing this. We'll resume in a few minutes. Okay, that's your whole set. That's something else. That's Delilah's. I'll get some in a few minutes. Okay, you ready? Is it wasn't that on?
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Is it on? Okay. Is it off the pause? Is it on? Yeah, you're doing it. We just start now, so we got a good way to go. Okay. And they took this particular information out because it clearly talked about 2 races of people. And the 2 races of people, even though they talked about 2 brothers that fought together in the womb, which is a mythological thing, that Jacob and Esau, in the Bible in Genesis and 1, they ever say that Jacob, which was the righteous brother, and Esau, which was born with red hair all over. Well, we didn't figure it was 2 brothers, but the Hebrews got the other part of the story was in that book, Mystic Trends of Judaism, which is the Europeans now have got all that information now. The white Jew now, which is a converted Jew. But in that guy Arnold Pose's book, he says that red-haired person is also called a Milbus, which will take over the whole world. Which would take over the whole world, that red-haired would take over the whole world and rule everything. And all, you see. They say he was the first one to kill Messiah, son of Joseph. So that's the whole Jesus thing, or whatever, however you want to put it, is also representing the black man, too, and the black woman. But it deals with that particular science and all, but it's also, so what they did was they put these stories in there, but the specific things where they went into the gross detail, they took that stuff out of the Conference of Nicaea. So it's very key, and that Hermetica part is very key, because what happened is the spirit leads me back to certain things, and I went back up in here, and the prophecy part, but the other part was about the 2 races of people, and that particular part is this curse of the Black Pharaoh, which is an ancient thing, which the guy that put this together from Australia is paraphrasing the Gnostic text. The particular Gnostic text is the Apocalypse of John, which was dug up in 1945, where they talk about creating a counterfeit spirit. And based on that counterfeit spirit, he broke it down into some other science about the non-permanent atoms and the permanent atoms, which breaks it down to the scientific terms of what we're dealing with today. And they dug those particular scriptures up in 1945, the Nag Hammadi Library and all. But what happened was is the Christian scholars, white scholars, held on to that particular information for from 1945 to 1977. How many years is that? 22 or 30?
32.
32 years. And then they released the Nag Hammadi Library in English in 1977. Now, one of the other ones now you can get that chronicles that is the other Bible by Willis Barnstone, and also the Gnostic scriptures by Bentley Leighton. The Gnostic scriptures by Bentley Leighton, and the other Bible, which they deal with those particular scriptures and all. Those particular scriptures. Because he who knows one book knows none. T.W. Dune's Bible Myths and Their Parallels. So at this particular time, we're going to do this particular part, the Thru. This is the book, the Equinox of the Gods by Aleister Crowley, but he did a ritual up in here to Horus. And he used this ritual to invoke the Christ figure in Cairo, Egypt in 1904, a tall black man, which he says, a tall black man in his 30s, which he invoked that type of thing and all, the invocation and all. But I don't think we need to do that this particular time. We got the energy, it feels all right. So what we're going to do is we'll be referring to the book list as we go on, as we go on. So let's deal with a couple of things right now on the hard copy. Number one, the Mike Tyson incident that went down with the biting of the ear. First of all, we must understand spiritually that boxing was nothing but an extension of the Roman gladiator throwing their people to the lions. And they might say throwing Christians to the lions, but at that particular time, the only people that they were throwing to the lions was they made a racial distinction. The original Christians or whatever that type of thing, you best believe they were black people. So now the white man will say, oh, throwing Christians to the damn lions. It wasn't going down like that. They were throwing black people to the lions who just so happened to be called Christians after they look back in history, and they talk about the people who call themselves Christians at Antioch, which were just talking about black spiritual people, those people that were the Christ. And you know, and the whole thing stopped, like Dr. John Henry Clark said, is when one of the Roman people, one of the main people that was throwing people to the lions, he looked up one day and his wife was standing up in the damn middle of the Colosseum. Then they stopped the foolishness. When his wife was standing up in there. But one of the keys is that same, and also not only the gladiator with the lions, gladiator also means where they put men in the ring and they fought to the death. Go back and look at your movie Spartacus. The movie Barabbas is one, there's several ones, but Spartacus is a real good one, where they fought to the death and all. Just 98% of what you see Spartacus in that whole 9 yards was black people, because they made a distinction because it was dealing with race. So a lot of the things, it has a lot to do with, take the first couple of chapters of Chancellor Williams' book, Destruction of Black Civilization, and where it was all based on the racial thing, and then you transfer that to the white figure you see in places like Spartacus, Barabbas, and Ben-Hur. You see what I'm saying? And Ben-Hur. Those particular movies and all, which is also inspirational movies. Go back and look at Ben-Hur. A lot of metaphysical stuff in Ben-Hur. A lot of metaphysical stuff in Barabbas, Spartacus. Like I said, a lot of movies came out at that particular time also. Late 50s and early 60s. Jason and the Argonauts. Bell, Book, and Candle. What was the name of that book? Bell, Book, and Candle. The one with Ken Novak and James Stewart on the witch thing. A whole lot of stuff came out at that particular time. That you need to deal with and all. But going back to this, that was that gladiator tradition. So now, the first thing they said when Mike Tyson bit him, the white people were so upset. The first thing they said when Mike Tyson bit, they said that Mike bite Tyson and bit the real meal Holyfield. The first thing happened at that particular time when that happened was that the Europeans all around the world started crying. They said, they was actually upset. They said, wait a minute now, you got our sport, and they call it a beautiful sport where a man get up in the ring and beat the hell out of somebody. They call it a beautiful sport. They said, but they were afraid that the sport was going to turn into wrestling, worldwide wrestling. That's what their main concern was, that Mike Tyson almost put their stuff on the level of worldwide wrestling. I say it was spiritual because the moment he bit that ear up in there, and it changed from a fight, that, even though we said, oh, this was crazy, it changed from the white boy looking at a serious fight to what it really was, a barbaric event from the get-go.
That's right.
You see? So what's the difference? Busting him in the face? Or bite? So it actually, at one moment, the spirit interceded, and it showed what it was from the get-go, a barbaric event.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? Savage. You see? And that's what the whole key was. So it put that flavor on there, and immediately they say, oh, man, this is going to turn into worldwide wrestling. Worldwide wrestling. You know what I'm saying? And they was all, and so one white boy came on, and they was all talking about him and his integrity, his laws. He bit the man in the ring, and the guy said, wait a minute, what the hell are you talking about? We're talking about two people get in the ring and beat the shit out of each other.
That's right.
What integrity? This is a barbaric sport from the get-go.
That's right.
You know, what are you talking about? As if this man here created some cardinal sin because he decided to bite other than to kill somebody like they killed Dooku killed. That white boy, Boom Boom Man City, killed him because they wouldn't stop the fight. All this stuff. So, so he didn't kill somebody. You see, that's the noble thing. But it's still, at one moment, it shows you, just like the signs of the time, the ending of this barbaric type of sport. You see what I'm saying? Which is not boxing. It's football, basketball, baseball, any sporting event. You see what I'm saying? Whereas in football, the average football player can't even have sex with his wife after a career in the NBA.
That's right.
Number one, some of the linesmen getting hit down there, they're so infinite because, you know, you down there getting hit, you got on a jock strap and somebody hitting you and all, you know what I'm saying? So he can barely raise it up. And the other ones that didn't get hit there, it takes a little bit of stamina, a little bit of style and all to have sex if you a man. You know what I'm saying? Especially if your knees ain't right. How the hell you gonna get in there and get the stroke right? And your knees paining you. Now we talking about, you ever got hit on your knee before? Now can you imagine if somebody, all the whole knee is gone? They say they can't even have adequate sex because the back's all messed up. You know what I'm saying? The back, the arm. So they might want to need to just put the arm down to get in a certain position, but you done got all this toe all up. So they say that all of them are bad sex partners. They can't even have decent sex with their wife and all because they're in so much pain. It's almost like having sex with a doggone patient in a doggone in a rehabilitation center. You see what I'm saying? So we're talking about a barbaric sport, and you got to play in pain. 98% of the time, you got to play in pain. You see? And remember now, we talk about this that overlaps each other. You know what I'm saying? Overlaps each other. And I know brothers that know the football, baseball, and basketball, know every player on the team, every score of every game. Now that's a mathematical genius. Yeah. Yet it's plundered away on ignorance. That's right. You see what I'm saying? Something that, you know, to this day, they didn't even decide to even have black quarterbacks and different things like that. You know, it's always been racism in the whole 9 yards and stuff like that. So very key to understand that the Mike Tyson thing, as well as a lot of this stuff that's going down, is still showing the breakdown, the breakdown on what's going on. Now the apologies are still coming. Number one, they're going to free Wayne Williams soon. See, they keep things on the back burner because news is. They have to line news up just like you have to line up a TV programming. You know, HBO will say this movie is coming in October, and it could be August. You be like, damn, you know, I got to pay that bill, man, because I got to get that. I got to record that. I got to see that. So they keep stuff lined up. So therefore, they keep stuff on the back burner. So right when the news drops and the money stopped making. See, right now they flying high on the Diana thing. You see what I'm saying? They're making billions off of it.
That's right.
My girl was in the newspaper. They came in and said, stop everything. Stop it all last Sunday. Stop everything. You know, they say the first section of this paper got to be Diana only. And man, they sold like hotcakes. They just sold. People were buying it. And then they pumped the color pictures. They pumped pictures for the last 17 years from the wedding on up to the funeral. So they say stop everything. So if news was that important for you to stop, that means the news wasn't shit no way. You see, if they told them to stop the whole front section, not the front page, the whole front section of a major newspaper. You see what I'm saying? And that was in everyone. Philadelphia, New York Times, Washington Post, all of that. So they make this particular money. So the next thing is, even on the apology tip, that they're going to go back into this Atlanta child murder thing. And then they're going to say that Wayne Williams, they got this new evidence. They already got the evidence. You see, all of a sudden, they'll just break some shit. So this is good for one thing. They make money off of it. They get the apology. Plus, on the other side, they get black people to argue, and they occupy your mind, and they can snatch another million of you off the street and kill you up, and you don't know shit because you worried about Wayne Williams. And some stuff that ain't current events, because they never reveal nothing unless it's 10 years or beyond. So now they get ready to do that, so watch for it. You see, watch for it and all, you see. All of the Geronimo Pat, all that stuff is set up. The Mumia thing, hell, you don't holler for him now. Hell, you should have been hollering for the man years ago. But see, you might have knew about it in Philadelphia. It's local. But we didn't know about no Mumia until doggone last year, last summer before last. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about the masses or the whole people, or the country. That's all set up. It's set up to bring news. So if you notice, he was supposed to be executed.
On Marcus Garvey's birthday.
And put it on the
they had a plan for Marcus Garvey's birthday year before last.
Right. Yeah, yes. And they put it on the back burner. You know what I'm saying? You know,
yes.
You know.
In fact, a few weeks after that planned execution, that's when Dave Richardson was taken out.
But they put stuff on it so they can come back with it later, like a sequel. That's what the news is, because it's all choreographed. Nothing is real, and it's all to keep a person dead. Remember that, because that's what's going down at this particular time. Now, it's interesting because last summer, right before the Olympics, one of his brothers, very conscious bus driver, he said a white woman got on the bus the other day, he said, and she was telling him how she had gone to the doctor, and how the doctor told her about they got these pills. You can take a pill. They can take a pill. They can take a spleen out of you. Grind that spleen up. Grind that spleen up. Now, one spleen might make 500 pills. Right? So they get a couple of spleens, grind them up, make it into a pill. Give you that pill when your spleen fuck up, and you'll grow a new spleen. It's real simple because it ain't nothing but cells. You can grow cells. You know what I'm saying? You can grow cells. You've heard of people saying, my damn tooth grew back. You see, and that happens, you know, or whatever. You can grow cells. So what happens is, she was saying that, you know, they can get any organ on your body they can grow. And it's interesting because she said that a year ago, and on CNN about a month ago, they announced right on CNN about we got pills that can grow organs.
That's right.
But the key is at what expense and who the hell you grinding up. You see what I'm saying? Well, fortunately with us, there was too much. They got so much that they're killing us with. When it came to the indigenous people, the melanin would backfire on them, and actually they would actually get sick and they would die from black organs. It was always like it was becoming contaminated to the day you leave it from the body. Otherwise, we'd all be dead. So they just sacrificed the pole cracker. You know what I'm saying? The pole cracker. You know, so the white boy can't trace his family back to England or whatever type thing and all. They get to all the fucking Virginia and Appalachian State, Appalachian, Virginia, or whatever the place is, and also downtown Baltimore. I told you about that the last time I was here. They got this whole white ghetto. Did I tell you about that?
Yeah,
In Baltimore, Maryland, they got a whole white ghetto. I mean, blocks and blocks and blocks and blocks of poor white people. You know what I'm saying? Just like the movie with John Travolta, White Man's Bird, where they had everything switched. It's right there downtown in Baltimore, and they don't let anybody know about it. You see what I'm saying? But yet this is a major city now, couple of blocks from D.C., and yet they don't let you know they got a whole poor section, not no 1 or 2 streets. We talking about just literally neighborhoods and neighborhoods of poor white people, poor white trash.
But they're cleaning fish down out. They got a whole new white.
But you would never know it at all because the key is perception. They would never let you know that. That's right. In the world that they would have white poverty. You see what I'm saying? See, they can front to the rest of the people all over the world about black poverty because they'll kick and say, well, those people just genetically inferior. But what about white poverty? What's the genetics in that? You know? They let you know that America ain't all what it used to be. It's what it's called supposed to be. Now, like I said, about the AU Center, the AU Center is a government project, which is the schools down in Atlanta. For that moment, which then again, we know that all black colleges were started, most of them were started from the Freedmen's Bureau, which they say, culture for service. You get the white man's culture to serve him, and that's the big motto on the bottom of Clark Atlanta University symbol from the 1800s, culture for service. We're going to culture your ass in European mind so you can serve us. But anyway, Bill Gates just came down and gave them like, I think he gave them like $16 million. White boy from Microsoft. Gave the AUC, he gave Clark Atlanta University $16 million. So what it is, well, two things. They keep them as pet prizes because they still need a buffer zone. And a buffer zone is they need to show an image to the rest of black America that we're doing all right. So the upward mobile, they will keep them and give them the jobs and all. Remember now, you can have 1 million people go to college and get jobs and all. It's only, you understand what I'm saying? 1%, damn near all the black people you got, or 10%. No, 1%. Shit. You know, if you got 60 million people, you know what I'm saying? That's 1%. You think about it. And so, but they can keep them at a certain level as the upward mobile, and so therefore that's the buffer zone. As long as they got a people a buffer zone, which is a person that they can put as an archetype of what's doing well, you see, they got to keep that. So mainly everybody who go there does pretty much all right. But that's not the masses of the people that they destroy each day and all, you see. Now, it's interesting, because I don't know if I told you this the last time I was here, but this is a bit of history. You remember the movie Muhammad Ali, he did the movie The Greatest, came out in like 1975. And in the movie, this white woman was following him around. And the white woman said, was following him around. He said, why are you following me around? And she said, well, I'm looking for the day that we cut you up, or whatever kind of thing. Whatever she said didn't make no sense, but she would go to each one of his fights. So I was up in my boy's store. The guy that I used to work for, have you ever seen A Different World? Used to come on, remember the little bald-head man had a little hamburger shack? Well, they went down to Atlanta and they copied this guy. That's where Bill Cosby got the idea from this guy to serve food to all the college students. Spelman Morehouse, Clark, Barnes Brown. There's one guy, I used to work for the guy. That guy made buku cats. He was a millionaire. Anyway, I was up in there and I was telling them that, you know, that they served, you know, that they fed, what's his name, rat poison. Muhammad Ali rat poison. And that's why he all fucked up now. Because they'll say, anytime they want to do some stuff, they say Parkinson's disease. But what happened is, we know that this was a lie now because I told you about my cousin. We call her my aunt out of respect because she's my mother age and she's like a year older than my mother. So down south, that's your aunt. You know what I'm saying? Although she's my first cousin. So we call her Aunt Jane Esther. So what happened was, her hand was shaking. And the doggone doctor was telling her it was Parkinson's her hand because they had to put them tubes up in her because she's on dialysis. He cut the wrong damn artery or the vein or something. He said, and so the nerve, cut a nerve and all, and he called it, and he said the first thing they do is they call it Parkinson's disease. So that's like the cover up thing, all the fucked up stuff they do to you, they'll say Parkinson's. So the shit with Muhammad Ali, they say Parkinson's when they messed him up, feeding him rat poison and all that type of thing, because 98% of boxers, it's a grueling sport. You know, sometimes, man, you might be the winner and walk out with the belt, but you might lay in the hospital for a damn 2 weeks.
That's right.
What's the name was in the hospital? Joe Frazier, after the first fight with Muhammad Ali had a broke jaw. He was on TV the next day talking about it, but Joe Frazier stayed in the hospital for a whole damn month. And was never the same after the first fight.
That's right.
You see, he just got one good lucky punch in.
That's right.
And all. But the key was, I was telling the guy, my friend in the store, and this other brother walked in, and he said, he said, I'm listening to you. He said, and I can bear witness to what you're saying. And I said, why? He said, this is the first time I ever heard anybody speak on this man being tampered with other than what the doctor said. He said, but I knew something was wrong. He said, because you remember the woman on the grave, that said that she followed him to every show. He said, I remember at the time when she was following him and what she really said. It's just in the movie they documented this woman following him around and she hated his guts. She was a rich woman, went to all his fights. But he said that they didn't document what she said in the movie. But what she really said, she told him, you know that big mouth you running your mouth with? One day, that same big mouth you running your mouth with, one day, you won't even be able to speak out that mouth. So she was like one of these big crackers that was a part of these white people that fuck up people. You know, one of these wives or somebody. So she was telling him, we're going to do something to that same mouth you running your mouth with. And it's interesting because Muhammad told him and warned him about that before. He said, you know, it's funny, it's one thing to talk about the white man, it's another thing when you get millions from him. He said, you better shut the hell up around them crackers. So they gonna fuck you up, running your damn mouth around them crackers. He said, you don't fuck with them crackers and you getting their money like that. He said, because at that time, he was the biggest paid person in history, in sports, and all. You see what I'm saying? In the whole 70s, he was the highest paid sportsman. Another one that was different than him was Jack Nicklaus. Now, Jack Nicklaus, the golfer, and Jack Nicklaus made less money, but Jack Nicklaus, the white boys will step to him and say, oh, this is an investment we want you to get down with, which they won't go to the black man for. So, therefore, he could make more money because, therefore, he had the little click. And that's how white people do things. They step with the deal of the century on them, and so you can make more money, earn more money, but they'll have more money than you based on investments because the cracker will come and give them the loopholes in the deals and tell them either how to save some money or whatever to invest in. So he was still number 2 under Jack Nicklaus at the time. And he said, Muhammad said, they're gonna fuck you up. And he was prophesying. But my point was, the guy said that it's documented in the movie. She said, I'm waiting for the day. She said something in the movie. Go back and read the movie, The Grizz. But the guy remembered what she really said. She said, that big mouth you speaking out of, one day you ain't going to be able to speak out of that. Which also bears witness to what we know that they fixed his behind. You see what I'm saying? Which shows the same thing with Richard Pryor. They gave him a lobotomy and messed him up. That whole 9 yards. So now they got your boy, because they got an apology for Richard Pryor. They already apologized to Muhammad Ali when they made him burn this thing up in the Olympics and all that kind of shit. You know, Joe Frazier is very bitter. Say that nigga look like he about to burn himself up and did the same thing. Joe Frazier said he should have fell in. And, you know, Joe Frazier's still mad with him, but the key was, and people say, why are you bitter? But then the key was when I saw Muhammad Ali, the whole story, and I don't blame Joe Frazier. Because what happened is Ali overstepped the boundaries. What happened was in Manila, Ali made a whole campaign by calling this man a gorilla and an ugly and a gorilla, and he dehumanized that man. And he dehumanized that man to the point where that's why he's catching hell now. He dehumanized that man, and Joe Frazier said, hell, we both black. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't look ugly. Calling him a gorilla. That's the same thing that the white man was calling him. So he had gotten so high up on his heart, he dehumanized, what's his name? He dehumanized him ain't don't like it. But anyway, they apologized to Joe Frazier. Now they getting ready to do it for Muhammad Ali because Damon Wayans is getting ready to make a movie about his life. Another one now. And they're apologizing for that. You see what I'm saying? You know, they're apologizing for that. Now we also know that there's a clause with black sports figures. And this is the key. There is a sport unwritten law that they step to all of them. And they tell them if they take the money and help the black community, they will end their career immediately. You could ever heard this thing? We always say, damn, all these, the first thing you hear black people say, all these damn football players, basketball players, and damn, ain't nothing happening. But they got this thing. Because the white people help out. White people always in charities and kids. Little UNICEF kids and shit like that, you know. But here it is, they say, on there that they will end, they stepped to all of them, say, we will end your career if you help black people. Woo! And that's the unwritten law that they got.
All of them.
Oprah? All of them too, Oprah and all of them. You see what I'm saying? So what it is, they hem them up in a room and all. You see what I'm saying? And they tell them, these are the bylaws you can't do. And it's not just for, it's any upward mobile person that goes into mega millions.
They did it in the nation too. Making them buy stuff that we're going with. Buying farms that wouldn't make no profit. Buying planes nobody couldn't fly. So
in the nation of Islam.
Yes, right.
Well, you know that's interesting because the 3-year economic plan that Farrakhan was with is funny. It's funny you said that. Now, it's interesting how shit go down. Because I'm in conversation. It is funny you said that. The money, Farrakhan went to South Carolina and bought in Savannah. He went to Savannah and he bought a farm that was up underwater. Remember they had the big flood back in 94? He went and bought a farm and he bought these farms and stuff and the farms was up under the water and he can't turn nothing all because the cracker.
That's the whole game.
That's the game.
The whole game.
Yeah.
The devil give them nothing.
Right.
Play the game. Create the illusion.
Create the illusion. You right about that. And he bought a farm. It wasn't about nothing. You see, exactly. I can bear with this. Exactly what you're saying and all. You know. So now what's happening now is this. And I might have hit on this the last time. That your bodies, you got a higher self, like Dr. C, Brother C. Freeman, one of my teachers used to say. Your spirit knows. So therefore, if you're having problems with any endeavors at this particular time that's just not going right for you, you must check your spirit because a lot of times what is standing in the way is your own spirit wants you to go one path, but you want to go the other path, and the other path is not necessarily what your spirit wanted this time. So therefore, the spirit don't lend any energy to that for you to receive that because in order for you to receive anything, it's got to be with a certain amount of energy. This particular book, that I bring the book down, and I mentioned this book, very good book. I suggest you get it. The Magician, the study and effects of the study and effects of magic, a study in effective magic. Now, see, the white boy told me. This is when I first got into this stuff, this metaphysical thing back in then. I said, man, what's this whole section on magic? And he said, that's common when most people come in here. That was years ago. He said, that's common for most people to come up in here and look at that now. He said, you don't even know what the concept of magic is. He said, if you have been taught that magic is, Doug Hennings and, Houdini and all. He said, those are tricks. And they have taken the ancient art of magic and have renamed it where the concept is lost, where you thinking of some trick shit.
It don't work.
This is talking about mastering your body, which is mastering the forces of the universe and being in control of the forces of the universe that the ancient would call magic. You now thinking some old hocus pocus spook thing. He's saying that's because they have renamed things. So a lot of times, even when we read these ancient scriptures, the modern concept is totally different. You know what I'm saying? It's totally different. You know what I'm saying? And a lot, like I said, a lot of the love, it's very key to be talking on this, a lot of the love that they was talking about was not love as far as the same romantic thing, but it was just talking about just being humane. You know what I'm saying? The humane thing is like when old stupid ass MC Hammer that had his last story on. He's broke now. But he said all the boys that he had in prison, it was when he had niggas out of prison 1 week, they dancing with him, making hundreds of dollars, thousands of dollars, and once he got broke, they don't even speak to him. So the humane thing is being humane, whereas your sincerity is your credential. You're supposed to hang with the brother when he don't have no money. You see, but he deserved it buying the Oakland Police Department a damn helicopter. So he deserved that. And 23 race horses. So a fool and his money is soon parted. You know what I'm saying? But the love thing at that time was just talking about being humane.